One more sleep, and we're there. We finally made it. The NFL season kicks off in less than 24 hours, as Vegas Mac told you this morning. We have made it to our MAS NFL Kickoff Show. And in local lore here, anybody that's familiar with this, and if you are a football fan, a true football fan, no matter who your team is, you'll know exactly who said this, and I'll tell you who in a second. But guys, it's time to get your mouth guards in and bust some wedges, my brothers. Shout out Ron Wolfley, the former color commentator for the Arizona Cardinals. Man, it is football season. I know we've already started on the college side, but this is where we, to take another one from The Rock, it's like, dude, let's go. We're there. And the scene tomorrow night at the Link, when they're already telling people in Philadelphia, hey, if you don't have tickets, please don't come down to the sports complex, where people in Philadelphia will go, yeah, bite me. We're going to party tonight. As always, I'm in here not in a shotgun formation by myself. We're spread wide, and we always are. Take that however you will. Vegas Mac in the center. What's going on, my brother?
Not a whole lot. I just got a breaking news story. The Dallas Cowboys have been eliminated from the playoffs already.
Oh, no. We're going to start that early tonight. Wow. Mac goes for the jugular right off the top, dude.
That's right. Absolutely. No,
right
it's
off the top.
It's going to be fun to see that tomorrow. I mean, anytime you start a new season, like we said, it's fresh, it's new, it's exciting for everybody. I mean, everybody thinks they have a chance until week one, and then half the teams will be, knowing that they don't have a chance.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, if you're watching along and you're already pissed off at Vegas Mac, I will tell you two things. Number one, it's not going to be the first time he gets under your skin tonight. Number two, feel free to comment along. Let us know where you're watching from. Let us know what your picks are, your bold predictions for this upcoming football season. Tony James on the far right side, for me at least, of the screen. What's up, my brother? The autumn wind is a TJ.
Well, I'm ready and waiting to have my football team disappoint me for 3 hours every Sunday.
Isn't it amazing, guys, when we go into these weekends and for 3 hours on a Saturday, we're sitting here watching 18, 19, and 20-year-olds control our mental health. And then on a Sunday, we're doing the same thing, just a little bit older. And there's a lot of that to go around. And Mac, you mentioned something, and I'm going to start with you on this. What is the most, before we get into the nuts and bolts of this, if you're following along at the bottom, you can see kind of the layout tonight, where we're going to get to your particular teams and everything there. But Mac, I'll start with you. What is the most exciting thing of a new NFL season, a new football season for you?
I kind of touched on this before, but I think for me this season, it's this crop of young players. This draft was really stacked with some, I think, players that can make an impact in year one. And normally you have one or two, but I think there's a more. I think there's probably 8 or 10 in this one that could really make an impact on their team in a lot of different ways, from quarterbacks to running backs to defensive players, linemen. There are some good young players, and so I think that's, for me, that's one of the things I want to see how these guys do right off the bat.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. I know I've got a couple. T, I think you've got a couple. One of the more exciting things for me on a new football season, and because I'm a fat ass, I'll go to this one first. The football foods for me. There's a lot of things I wait for football season specifically to, like, hey, we're going to make that. I wish Sam's Club would let me just auto-renew my chicken wing shipments, because if you come over to the Arana Casa during football season, there's always chicken wings. But I got some new recipes this year I can't wait to try. Nice. My other thing, though, and you guys know this, we've been doing this show now, for a while, obviously in the live form now, and we've got some news on that a little bit later. But my other thing is always finding that team. quote, Mike's team. And we kind of do this biannually. Mac, you'll remember this specifically. A couple years ago, I latched onto the Royals. They made that run into the postseason, actually got through the second round of the postseason. Last season, Mike's team was Mike's Commanders. I really loved the layout. Tonight, I've got another one, and we don't force it. It's just one of those things that I find my team, and I'll give you a little hint because they will come up later. It's in the NFC this year. And no, it's not the 49ers because this has to be somebody that's not actually my team. T, give me something that excites you about a new football season.
Well, I mean, all of the above. The draft class is super, super like exciting this year. I just try to look at all the ways that I can hate watch the Chargers because watching Josh Herbert, and then hopefully I get to watch a little bit of Dennis Goddard this year. But it's just, you know what? It's just exciting, right? It's probably the second best opening day or opening weekend experience. I think baseball is the best. But this is, I mean, we got a game, on Thursday? We got one on Friday. We got them on Sunday. We got them on Monday. So, I mean, there's plenty to go around. And it's just really a time and it's my favorite time of the year too. So it's just really just a time to get jacked and be ready to go.
Feel free to comment along. Like I said, Mama Mac checking in. No, I have not given up on the 49ers. What is wrong with you? And for those of you checking in that are ready to just bomb us in the comments, the Dennis Goddard and Josh Herbert is a long-running joke on this particular program here. And T, you don't have to wait long to hate watch the Chargers. You just have to do it on YouTube tomorrow night, or not tomorrow night, Friday night. See, dude, I'm like a chicken on crack right now. Hey, let's talk about our three specific teams because obviously, we have our teams. For those of you joining us for the first time, Vegas Mac in the middle there, Steelers fan. Obviously, TJ's not hiding who either one of his football teams are on his cabeza and on his whatever your chest is in Spanish. And then I am a long-suffering Niner fan, still waiting for number 6. But let's talk about our teams specifically before we dive into the AFC here, guys. And let's go with TJ to start us off. What excites you about Raider Nation this year?
I think they finally have a coach that actually can coach. I mean, this is the 5th head coach for this franchise since they've been in Vegas. This is the 6th year in Vegas. It's pretty dang embarrassing, but I think they finally got somebody who can do the job. And I know his age is always brought up, but this is a guy who has youthful enthusiasm. The players love him. And you can see it already just in the short videos that we've seen from training camp. The players are going to buy in and they're going to play their asses off for him. So it's just a matter of, one, can he get the players to produce? And B, can he groom somebody in as a quote coach in waiting for when he's done?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a great point, and I think a lot of Raider Nation shares that exact same sentiment there as well. And those of you, again, that are new, welcome in, and the guys don't know this yet, so I'll drop it on them now. We play a game, we did it all summer, called High or Buy, where I ask the guys a question, they tell me if I'm high, or if they're going to buy what I'm selling, and I have so many of them tonight, and we're going to randomly drop those through. But Mac, give me something that excites you about your team that has a rap song that I can never get out of my head from the first time I said it, the black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow, the Pittsburgh Steelers.
I mean, I guess I'm really excited because I don't know what to expect from DJ Metcalf. I don't know what to expect from Aaron Rodgers because they haven't played together. In my head, I'm envisioning, deep touchdown throws and lots of scores, but I don't know that that's going to happen. So for me, I'm anxious to see what these guys are actually going to do. I'm a little worried already because our defense is completely banged up. But it'll be interesting to see what Aaron Rodgers does and what DJ Metcalf does because we've never seen it. It's going to be brand new.
I think I'm excited to see DK Metcalf and Jalen Ramsey on the same damn team this time, so we don't see another one of those fights. I'm going to put this one back up here. from You Got Ross checking in. We appreciate you, Ross. I will dust off the Pete Carroll, Ellen DeGeneres photo with Raiders logos edited on him. I will, because it's a tradition unlike any other. What excites me about my 49ers is they maybe rip my heart out again. The Super Bowl this year in Levi's Stadium at the Big Zipper in Santa Clara. And it's the fact that nobody's talking about the 49ers this year is what excites me the most. And we know, and you can say this and call me biased or whatever. Don't call me biased. I don't really care. This is not a prediction. It's a spoiler. If the 49ers are healthy, they are top to bottom one of the more talented teams in the NFL. I don't care what you say about who they lost. They lost names and numbers on jerseys. They did not lose production from a team that was god-awful terrible last year and gets rewarded this year with the last place schedule. So what excites me the most, and let's be honest, guys, we talk about this all the time, sports are better with villains. And when we get to villains, sports are better with villains. The 49ers are always one of those teams that strikes villain status in the NFL. The Niners, the Cowboys, the Patriots, the Steelers, the Raiders. We've got them all covered on this damn show. But it's the fact that nobody's talking about them. Let's get into the AFC, shall we?
Let's do it.
Let's start in the AFC South, where you're guaranteed the first playoff spot every year when the playoff weekend starts. And we're going to go around the room and give you our picks for the divisions as they go. And I'll get us started, and you will hear some common, frequent, same names in here. But I'm very intrigued by the South this year. And guys, I'm a little bullish on the Titans. I am a big believer in Cam Ward. I think Cam Ward is going to be an absolute superstar. I love what the Titans have done around him as far as the playmakers on offense. Obviously, the Titans defense leaves a lot of questions to be desired, but if you're going to bring a young quarterback like Cam Ward into the fold, the number one overall pick, who by all accounts has stepped up to leader status already for them. When you have guys like Tyler Lockett and Calvin Ridley, and we can go up and down that list, I'm very intrigued there. The Jaguars, what the hell is going to happen there as they build the stadium of the future? The Colts, which might be a walking, running shit show this year, but that's good for content and everything as well. I'm going to start in the middle with Mac. Mac, give me your AFC South winner and why.
For me, it's Houston, and I mean, it sounding kind of silly, but I just think they're the best team in that division, hands down. They took a little bit of a hit offensively last year. Some of that had to do with injuries that they had to key personnel, and they still have some of those that they're working through. But I just think that this is a team that you can kind of see their progression over the last couple of years, and I just expect them to get a little bit better. And because they've gotten a little bit better, I don't know that really anybody in that division has gotten as good or better than them to catch up to them. So I just think Houston is the best team in that division.
See,
a whole lot of the same. I think it's Houston by default. I don't think Jacksonville is quite there yet. Cohen's got to put in his system. We'll see how that goes. I have zero faith in Indianapolis right now. And Tennessee, I think they're 2 years away from being 2 years away. So, yeah, I think it's Houston. It'll be, again, Saturday, 1:30 p.m. on whatever that Saturday is. You'll see the Houston Texans playing at home, I think, is the 3 seed.
Interesting. I got Houston as well for a lot of the same reasons, guys. I'm a big believer in DeMeco Ryans. Obviously, C.J. Stroud had the, quote, sophomore slump. But I don't know how much I can blame the sophomore slump on C.J. Stroud last year as much as how can you be an effective quarterback when you're staring at the roof of NRG Stadium for half the damn game all the time? They obviously lost Tank Dell in the middle of towards the middle half of the season. And I like what they did. I think there's a lot of eyeballs on Christian Kirk. The Laramie Tunsil loss, something that we've talked about. We talked about when we previewed this division. And again, I don't really have a lot of faith in the Colts. Don't really think I have a lot of faith in the Jaguars.
I'm not drinking that Kool-Aid, that's for sure. I'm not drinking the Jaguars Kool-Aid. No way. I'm off
not
that.
A chance.
Yeah, no, and I agree with you guys. So all across the board, we've got Houston, to win the South there. I'm going to drop a little higher by before we move to the AFC North here, and I'll start with you, Mac. Higher by the Indianapolis Colts to have the fewest wins in the NFL, which you can get at plus 2,200 on a certain betting website. Fewest wins in the NFL, the Colts.
Oh, absolutely high. There's no way. I think the Colts are going to be. I think they're going to be all right. I think they're going to be better than a lot of people expect. No way. There's a whole. I can give you a list of 8 or 9 other teams that are going to be worse than them.
Well, don't do it yet. They're going to come up at some point. TJ, higher by Travis Hunter for offensive rookie of the year at plus 1,200.
I think it's good value. I think he's got a shot. It depends on how much they end up using him. And the way I understand the depth chart, he's going to get every chance, every opportunity to play both sides. So I would say that that's good value. Not necessarily what I think, but if I had, say, your $50, I would definitely put 20 on Travis Hunter.
Everybody wants to bet with my $50. That's the name of the game. Let's move to the AFC North, a division that's always interesting for a lot of reasons. One, because the Browns are just interesting in their own right because they're just the Browns, and that leads to, we could do a whole hour on just the Browns. But
why would
with Cincinnati, what the hell happens with Cincinnati? Pittsburgh with Aaron Rodgers, Baltimore. Again, I mentioned the other day, like, and T brought this up when we talked about the AFC West. We always give Justin Herbert, not Josh Herbert, but Justin Herbert. You can call him Josh still.
I know his name. I know
you know his name. We'll make sure everybody follows the running inside
Is
jokes
that
here.
Abear? Abear.
Yeah, Abear. We know that Justin Herbert always gets his flowers for not having accomplished anything. Now, Lamar Jackson's not on the same page. He's been an MVP. But I brought this comparison up when we talked about this division specifically. Joe Burrow gets a lot of flowers, but at least Joe Burrow's been to a Super Bowl. So this division, I think, it will be the first one that maybe we have some differentiating opinions on. So I'll start here. And I really am drinking the Kool-Aid for the black and yellow, whether it's black Kool-Aid or it's yellow Kool-Aid. My biggest question with the Steelers is, can they protect Aaron Rodgers? I think this division comes down to the very last week. And, of course, the schedule makers have the proper sense of humor here, because what would it be at the end of the season if we didn't have a sloppy, muddy, rainy, there's $1 for the D-bag jar there, that was my phone, field when the Steelers and the Ravens are playing? I think Pittsburgh edges them out at the end of the year, but I will say with the caveat that I don't know if Pittsburgh can protect Aaron Rodgers, and that's the biggest thing for me. We know Pittsburgh's defense is going to show up. We know they're going to do what they do. I'm going to go to Vegas Mac next because I think you guys have the same team here, but I think you guys have some differentiating seating. So, Mac, give me your AFC North winner.
It's without a doubt the Ravens. This division it's the Ravens and 3 question marks for a lot of different reasons. I mean, Cincinnati, can they play defense? Do they know what defense is? The Browns, do they have a quarterback yet, T? I'm not sure about that.
Nope.
And the Steelers just, can they run the ball? How's their offense going to be? A lot of injuries so far. So I mean, for me, it's the Baltimore Ravens. Without a doubt. Not only do I think they're the AFC North champions, I think they're going to be the number 1 seed in the AFC.
Interesting. TJ, why don't you give me your North champion, where and why they finish where they do?
I've got Baltimore finishing first as the 2 seed in the AFC. I agree with Mac. There's a lot of question marks. I think for Cleveland, they don't have enough data points that they're trying to acquire and to evaluate the personnel, and we need more data points. No, you don't need any more data points. Your personnel is
Hashtag
trash.
if you know, you know.
Holy smokes. Oh, my God.
That was a rough watch, dude. That was a rough watch.
Impressive.
But it completely summarizes the Cleveland Browns right now. Like, the left arm doesn't know what the right arm is doing. Joe Burrow in Cincinnati, I don't really like. We've talked about that like how they didn't decide not to play defense last year. But yeah, you're gonna have to show me something in the first 6 weeks of the season for me to be convinced. I actually think Pittsburgh is going to be a little bit better. I'm not so down on them. I think they're going to be a really good squad this year. I just don't think they're going to win the division.
Interesting stuff there. All right, let's do a little higher buy from the AFC North. And let's see. Because I always know I get some interesting answers from Mac when it comes to AFC North teams. So I'm going to start with TJ. There's a swerve for you. On a certain website, TJ, on a certain betting provider, you can bet the Cleveland Browns to start the season 0-5, and that would mean losses to Cincinnati, at Baltimore, Green Bay, at Detroit, and Minnesota for them to go 0-5. High or buy at plus 340. The Browns start the season 0-5.
Oh, take my money. I'll buy it. I will straight up buy it. I bet by week 5 they're on their 6th quarterback. It's a lot of people forget this team is like 4 or 5 years removed from that playoff win, and now look at them. They're the laughing stock again. So I would totally buy that 0-5 easily.
Vegas Mac, higher buy Joe Burrow at plus 2,200 to break the single season all-time NFL passing record held by Peyton Manning of 5,477 yards. I think you're muted.
He broke his microphone again.
I did. Sorry. I'm going to definitely buy that because Cincinnati's going to have to score 70 points a week to win. And so the only way they can do that is to throw the ball. So, they're going to need a lot of points. And when you're behind, you can't run. So you got to throw. So I think almost by default, that's going to happen.
What's the
by
record
default?
Again? What's
5,477 for those of you scoring at home.
Yeah, that's less than 400 yards a game. I don't think that's that's barely over 300 yards a game. I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility at all.
They're going to sling it they're not going to run the ball. They're slinging that ball from from play one.
Mm-hmm. Let's go to the AFC East, boys, where the Buffalo Bills have began their reign of terror after taking the reign of terror reigns from the New England Patriots. I'm not going to beat around the bush here because I'm going to venture to guess that all three of us have Buffalo to win this division. Are we correct? Of course we are.
Correct.
If not, you're fired. There's a lot of smoke behind the Patriots here, so I'm going to give you what I think. I think Buffalo, and I told you when we did our AFC East preview here. So let's do this to be different since we're all picking the Bills. A lot of smoke behind the Patriots. The Dolphins, we don't know what the hell they are. The Jets, they're the Jets. So, and I think the Jets might come up a little bit later when we get to awards. Just the hunch I have. Give me your concerns with the Buffalo Bills as a whole here, and I will start here. While I think they will win the East, I do think that they are going to roll through the AFC this year, and I think they're going to make a hell of a statement on Sunday Night Football to start the season against the Baltimore Ravens. Mm-hmm. My only concern with Buffalo, and they have added to this since we talked about the East, which makes me feel a little bit better, my biggest concern with the Bills is their secondary. If their secondary can play good football this season, I think the Bills absolutely roll through the AFC. Mac, give me a concern with the Bills.
I think their concern is the schedule. They start with the Ravens, and then really their next biggest game is about halfway through where they play Kansas City. And then they have the Texans in there, and then the Eagles at the end. I'll be honest with you, they kind of have a soft schedule, and I think again, they're a good team. They have to play who's in front of them. They'll trip up in one of these games, but I think maybe regular season, maybe a little complacency because of the schedule. They may look better than we think they are, or maybe they may look a little worse than we think they are because of the schedule.
Hey, how about you with the Bills?
My concern is with their receiver depth because we know what they like to do on offense. And, Keon Coleman and Khalil Shakir they're not like household names, but they're going to be. I thought Coleman had great rapport with Josh Allen. But this
Love
team can't,
Khalil.
But this team cannot afford injuries. And we saw what happened to them on defense last year with the Milano injury. They can't afford injuries, especially to the skill guys, because I don't think they have the depth that is going to be needed. This team needs to luck out and stay healthy the entire year.
Okay, for time purposes here, guys, I'm only going to do one higher by for the AFC East, and I'm going to ask both of you the same question. So higher by, the New England Patriots have an undefeated September. They open with Las Vegas. They're at Miami. They play Pittsburgh at home, and they play Carolina at home. You can get this for plus 800 on a certain betting service. Higher by, I'll start in the middle, Mac. The Patriots go undefeated in the month of September.
Yeah, you're high. There's no way that's happening. They have a hard time playing in Miami. I mean, that's one of the places that the Patriots always have trouble with. No, I don't know that they're going to beat the Raiders in week 1. I'm going to be honest with you. I would pick the Raiders in week 1. The Patriots might get better as the year goes, but I'm looking at this. I think they could start 0-3.
Interesting. T, higher by, undefeated
Nope.
September.
High. I don't think it happens unless Jordan Hudson comes out and puts together the balloon arch when the players take the field like she did for the presser the other night. Then that would be fantastic.
Holy shit, did that not look like an 8th grade prom with Belly's presser the other night? Not only did they get their asses kicked, which I don't think anybody was surprised about. I expected a little better defensive effort from the North Carolina Patriots. Yeah, I'm at $2 for the D-bag jar already. I expected a better defensive effort. That's why I said, hey, I love the bet of under 56.5. Mm-hmm. But holy shit, that looked like my 8th grade prom with all those balloon animals and stuff set up under there.
And I'm sure he was absolutely thrilled. Just, you could see it on his face. Just like, what the hell am I doing?
We're on to UNC Charlotte. All right, let's go on to the AFC West here, boys. And this is a division I think is extremely interesting. I think you have 4 teams that can be over 500 in this division. Yes, I am drinking Outlaw Pete's Kool-Aid in Las Vegas because as a 49er fan, I know exactly what Pete Carroll can do and what he can do very quickly. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of chatter on this division here, and both of you guys have the same pick, but you have them seeded a little differently. So, T, I'll give you the first chance to tell me who wins the AFC West and why.
I am really, really high on the Denver Broncos this year. I think Sean Payton is in the perfect spot. I think he's got his quarterback. I think he's running his offense. He's got all the things his defense is outstanding. I like Denver to win this division. I've got them as the 4 seed in the AFC.
Mac.
I'm going 100% and agreeing with T on that. I really like what the Broncos can do. We saw last year Sean Payton putting in his system. First year, he's going to get better. He's got a lot of pieces to work with in Denver. I'm really big. I look at their schedule. They've got some really good spots in that schedule where they can really go on a pretty big winning streak, I think, anyway. I like Denver. I have them actually as my number 2 seed in the AFC.
Interesting. You guys know I'm big on Bo Nix. I mean, I made the statement last year. I thought Bo Nix, over the long haul out of this quarterback crop in last year's draft, would be the best quarterback. Obviously, Jaden Daniels is very much has a say in that. But it'll be interesting to see. Again, we always talk about the dreaded sophomore slump and what can happen there. Denver's running game is a key. To be the man, you got to beat the man. And every single effing time we think the Chiefs are set for a downfall, they just come back and they come back stronger. I think until somebody beats Kansas City, I will pick the Chiefs to win this division every single year because of 15. I think we're going to see a way better year out of Travis Kelce. Obviously, some things have happened in his life, including non-alcoholic beers that him and Jason did not know about when they were watching the Cincinnati-Nebraska game. If you didn't see that story, look it up. Pretty funny stuff. But the Chiefs are the Patriots. They are the gold standard in the AFC, and until somebody knocks them off, I'm not going to believe it until I see it. So I'm going with Kansas City. As far as seeding goes, we'll get to that a little bit later for me because we're going to get into our predictions. All right, guys, no high or by here, just so we can keep up on time. Again, feel free to comment along. If you're following along, we appreciate you. Those of you that are new tonight, English is a very tough language, but we welcome you in. Follow us on all of our social channels at Mike Arena Show everywhere but Snapchat. TJ, why are we not on Snapchat?
Because Snapchat sucks and we're not 12.
All right, let's talk wild. Let's get wild, shall we? With some wild cards in the AFC. Let's just rattle them off, all three of our wild cards. So, again, these would be our 5, 6, and 7 teams in the postseason. I'll start. I think Denver does get to the postseason. Even if we get a little bit of a sophomore slump, quote-unquote, out of Bo Nix, I think the team around Bo Nix is very, very good, especially that defense. Baltimore, I think they get to the postseason as well. They're my second wild card. And Mike McDaniel's Miami Dolphins. I think they get to the wild card. And when we get to our award winners later in the program, I will tell you exactly why I think they get there. But the Broncos, the Ravens, and the Dolphins are my 3 wild cards. Vegas Mac in the middle. Give me your 3 wild cards, 5, 6, 7 in the AFC.
It's number 5, Kansas City. I mean, again, I think that division's up for grabs, but I like Denver in that one, so I got Kansas City in my 5 spot. I have the Colts in the number 6 spot.
What did you say?
Yeah, the Colts, baby. The Colts in the number 6 spot. I just think, again, it's you have to remember, wins are wins, and they're in their division, they're going to get some wins, and I really don't think they're all that bad a team. And if you're going to choke on that, you're going to really choke on this one. Jets, Jets. I got the Jets, baby, in the number 7. Listen, I don't think they're that far off. I really don't. New coaching staff, new idea, new way of doing things. I actually like Justin Fields. I don't think he's a bad quarterback. I think the Jets get back to the playoffs.
For those of you wondering how the structure works on this show, I often have to give TJ hazard pay because he has to follow Vegas Mac when he says things like that. So, T, the check's in the mail. Give me your wild cards in the AFC.
I've got Miami, Pittsburgh, and the Chiefs. I really like I think this is a season where we get a healthy Tua, and I think the injuries are going to stay away from the Dolphins. I like Pittsburgh. I think this is an Aaron Rodgers redemption story year. So I would love to see them lead Pittsburgh to the playoffs. And the Chiefs, just like you can't bet against them winning I think Denver's a good team. I have them as the 4. I think they win the division with 12 or 11 wins, and then the Chiefs have 11 or 10 wins. So I think the Chiefs get in.
Yeah, I think I was going to say, I think it's funny. I'm the only one who didn't pick the Steelers to make the playoffs.
Yeah, because I know how. Again, those of you that have been with us for the long haul here, Vegas Mac has a master's degree in reverse psychology. That's why he didn't pick the Steelers. Let's go to the NFC side, boys. And we're going to start in the NFC South. The dirty. The division rolled by the Buccaneers over the last couple of years. The Panthers getting a lot of steam, a lot of smoke. A lot of people believing in the Panthers in year 2 for Dave Canales. Obviously, Atlanta's intriguing. It's a very, very interesting division. Interesting also will describe most of what happens when you watch a Saints game this year. You're going to understand
who's going to do that.
Why exactly how a team can be that bad. I'll get started here. We'll go to TJ last because I know Mac and I are on the same page as far as our division champion in the South, and I was a believer at UW in Michael Penix. I think he's got a lot to prove still, but having a veteran quarterback like Kirk Cousins is a mentor there, and Kirk's just one of those dudes. Like he's gonna stay ready. He's gonna be ready. So if Penix falters, he's there. But I mean, I don't think you can have a better mentor for a young quarterback than a guy like Kirk Cousins. And we know Atlanta has the weapons. It's shit or get off the pot time for Kyle Pitts. Obviously, Bijan Robinson, huge. Atlanta's defense, we know they're going to be good. I do think that my thoughts on Todd Bowles over the last couple years, Mac, are finally going to come to fruition here. And Bakey can't carry the Bucks all the way to another division title. So I've got the Falcons, as do you. Why do you have the Falcons, and where do you have the Falcons?
I actually struggle with this one a little bit because I have them as a number 4 seed. I really want to put them higher. I almost wanted to make them a number 2 seed because you talk about your team. I think this is kind of my team this year. I kind of tested the waters last year with this Atlanta team and was a little disappointed, but I'm all in. I like what this team has. I think Penix showed that he can handle the quarterback position. I really do. I love their running backs. I love everything about this team. I put them as a 4 seed. After some thought, I thought about a 2nd or even a 3rd seed, but I think probably they're going to have a couple missteps along the way. That's why I went with a 4 seed.
Interesting. TJ, who takes the South? Where do they finish and why?
I like the Bucks again. I have them as a 4 seed in the NFC, and I love that Baker Mayfield is like the perfect quarterback for this team. He's gritty. He just gets wins. He takes care of business. I'm a little concerned about the loss of Godwin at the beginning of the season. I think that's going to hurt him a little bit. I hope McMillan can come in and take over and provide some depth there. They reloaded the defense for another go at it. This is a good football team. Todd Bowles, I think he's got one more. I think he's got one more division title in him. So I'm going to take Tampa Bay. I think he's able to get out of the way one more time.
All right, high or buy time, and I'm going to go to Mac on this one based on what he said when we finished our AFC comments. So high or buy, Mac, that the Bucks are the last winless team in the NFL. Let me give you some context here. They start the season at Atlanta. They go to Houston. Let me get closer to the mic so it sounds even shittier. They start at Atlanta. They go to Houston. Then they host your New York Jets. And then they host the Philadelphia Eagles. That's just their first 4 games. We could see a team be winless farther than that. Cleveland raises their hand. So does New Orleans. High or buy that they're the last winless team?
I'm going to say high. Because even though I like the Jets to make the playoffs, I don't know that was that a week 3 game on the road. Yeah. That's probably not the best spot for them. So I would say I can see a 1-4 start or a 1-3 start for sure, but I think they can get that win against the Jets.
TJ, high or buy NFC South edition. The Carolina Panthers go 2-0 against the New Orleans Saints at a plus 165. Am I high or are you buying?
I'd buy that. I don't know who's going to throw the ball for New Orleans. Is it going to be Archie Manning? Is it going to be Billy Joe Hobart? Is it going to be John Forcade? Who is throwing the ball? No.
John Forcade.
Bryce Young is actually I really like his progression. I think he's going to have a great season.
All right, let's move on to the NFC North, an interesting division, and maybe I might tip my hat to who my team is this year. Let's get started on the North. And again, I'll pair you two lovebirds together on this one. I'll start with TJ this time. TJ, who wins the North? Where do you have them seated and why?
I have the Lions #1 seed. I think they're going to roll right through this schedule. I think Minnesota is going to take a step back. Green Bay is going to take a step forward, and Chicago is going to Chicago. I like Detroit.
Fair assessment. Vegas Mac, who do you have winning the North and why?
I also have Detroit winning the North. I have them as my #2 seed. I still think there's a couple of questions with Detroit. We want to see whether or not Aiden is going to come back completely healthy and ready to go. I think that's something we need to see. I like the team. Again, for Detroit, we don't get to say this about every team, but there's just one outcome to their season that makes it a success, and that's not getting to the Super Bowl, winning the Super Bowl. Otherwise, the season's a failure. So I like Detroit as a 2.
A lot of time people in the space that we're in, and again, feel free to drop your comments here if you think one of us is completely out of our freaking minds, like Mac picking the Colts and the Jets to make the playoffs in the AFC. Comment along, give us your thoughts, give us your Super Bowl winners, and we'll get to those here in a little bit. But a lot of times people in this space, some people have a big enough name where they go, don't pick my team because you're going to jinx them. Mike's team has been a very successful thing as we've done this show. Thank you, people in Kansas City. You're welcome. I might be actually out there next July. And people that are fans of the Washington Commanders last year and still fans of the Washington Commanders. I give to you Mike's team this year, my NFC North champion. Much to TJ's absolute pleasure here, I am 1,000% drinking the Kool-Aid on the Chicago Bears. Much to the same reasons that I liked the Commanders last year. The difference is you're not dealing with a rookie quarterback in Chicago this year. I think the year that Caleb Williams went through last year and what Chicago did on the offensive line, sit still in the middle, will you?
Well,
Put you in timeout.
Caleb Williams was throwing.
Yeah, okay. Adding Joe Tooney and adding Jonah Jackson, when you look at the way the schedule shapes out outside of the North for Chicago, I think they have some opportunities. And I do believe in Ben Johnson, absolutely. I believe that Chicago could see a 4,000-yard passer this year. I am that high, and maybe I'm high, but Mike's team for 2025 is your Chicago Bears. The Bears.
The Bears.
I'm drinking the Kool-Aid, man. I think the expectations on Detroit, we've seen they've been so high. They're the most profitable team against the spread over the last 3 seasons. And you guys know I love Dan Campbell. I love everything about that. But I just don't think Detroit is... I think what hurt Detroit is the target is on their back now. Mm-hmm. They're not targeting anybody else. No. And I will love the back and forth between TJ and myself this year on Caleb Williams, and every time he goes, well, your guy, Caleb Williams, I'm not buying the Vikings at all. So I'm going to give you guys a higher buy here. And I will start with you, TJ, on the Vikings. Higher buy, and Kevin O'Connell has a history of having 30 touchdown passers as his quarterbacks. Doesn't matter really who it is. Higher buy that J.J. McCarthy throws 30 touchdown passes this year at a plus 225.
That's a good one, because when you break it down, a 30 touchdown season is less than 2 per game now. But he's got Jefferson, he's got Hawkins, he's got great receivers. They just got Thielen back. They got great receivers. I think he's going to do it. I would take that.
Max, same to you.
I don't think it's going to mean anything in the end, but I think he'll do it.
Fair. Same to you. 30 touchdowns for J.J. McCarthy.
I think that's a lot for a person in their first full year. I mean, and again, T, you're right. I mean, he's got a lot of weapons. I think they're going to have to be a little more balanced if they're going to win. So I'm gonna say I think you're high on that one.
All right, let's go to the NFC East, the division that hasn't given us a repeat champion since 2004. That last repeat champion was your defending champion, the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, obviously, we know the Commanders are there. I've said it this year. I honestly think Cowboys are going to be in the bottom third of the league for sure. It's one of the worst teams in football this year. And it's not me bagging on the Cowboys, man. Their running game sucks. Their defense was suspect with Michael, whatever he wants to call him. And I'm really kind of high, in a good sense, on this New York Giants team. I think this division is going to be, quote unquote, kind of a bloodbath. When it's all said and done, you'll like this one, Mac, because I'll go to you next on this, because I know we do have the same team. But my guy, Nick Sirianni, has got something going with the Eagles right now. And again, here's the thing, and this is how I've grown on Sirianni. I was hard on him last year. Mm-hmm. They asked him, and you might hear this on our social channels maybe tomorrow, but they asked him about the banner ceremony, and he goes, "Oh, I didn't know it was banner night. Yeah, we're not going to be out there for that." You don't need to be out there for that. You already did the damn thing. You're starting a new season. I love that. I think the scene is going to be ridiculous. While I think even the Giants will play a part in this down the stretch especially, I still think Philadelphia wins and we get our first repeat champion since the Eagles did it in 2004. Where they're seated, we'll get to that in a minute. But Mac, why Philly for you, and where do you have them finishing?
They're my number one seed in the NFC. I mean, I just think they're that good. And again, you know, it was kind of like, use the analogy, you know, we talked about how, you know, a couple of years ago, Michigan couldn't beat Ohio State. Once they beat Ohio State, now they can't lose to Ohio State. I think it's the same thing. I think Philadelphia, they got a real good taste of what a Super Bowl feels like to win it. And they want to get back there. Their focus is, you know, we don't care. We're going to take care of business during the season. We know what we need to do, but we know we're going to narrow our focus. We really know what we want to get to at the end. And I honestly think they're the best team in the NFC.
TJ, you have a differentiating opinion here. Who and why?
I think the Philadelphia is going to have a great season. I think they're going to make a run, but they're going to do it from second place. I like the Commanders. I'm in on the Commanders this year. I have a lot of faith in Jaden Daniels. I love the ads they made. They got McLaurin in, which is great. This team is primed to take the next step. I mean, they got obliterated in the NFC title game last year, but I mean, that was a long road for Washington in the playoffs to get to that point. I think they just ran out of gas and they looked like a gassed team. I think this is the year that they take the next step. I've got them as a 3 seed in the NFC.
All right, let's go out west, shall we? To the NFC West. And I don't think this is a shocker here, but we're all in unison on who wins the NFC West. So I'm going to give you guys the option, and I'll start in the middle with Mac. Why do the 49ers win the West, or what concerns you about the 49ers in the NFC playoff picture? You can take either or.
What concerns me is I think the 49ers are the best in the West, but I don't think they're nearly as good in the NFC. I'm still a little bit worried, kind of the fallout still from last year. I need to see it. I need to see it from Brock. I need to see it from McCaffrey. I need to see that they're back and healthy and ready to go. Again, I think they're a good team. It's kind of like you got to prove it to me again.
T, same question on the Niners.
No proof necessary for me. I know that they cannot have the bad luck that they had last year. It was awful. And look, you could have been any team going through that injury. It was long. That thing was longer than a CVS receipt by far. I mean, that it was so bad. So I don't expect that to happen again. I love the fact that they brought Robert Saleh back. I think that's huge for this defense. This is going to have vibes of the year that that they went to the, I know it's going to bring up a little PTSD, but the year that they went to the Super Bowl when they lost to the Chiefs.
Which time? Which PTSD?
The first time, the one in Miami where they were winning.
Damn, Garoppolo, throw it 2 yards shorter, you son of a bitch.
But that this team reminds me of a team similar to that, just with a better quarterback.
I think there's a couple things at play here as far as the West goes. Very under the radar, and we mentioned this, Mac and I, when you weren't here that night, but we talked about the NFC East, and I mentioned the running backs for the Commanders, and that, they were actively shopping Brian Robinson. So what do the 49ers do? They make another trade with the Commanders, and they acquire Brian Robinson. So as a safety blanket for Christian McCaffrey, I think you couldn't get any better.
Nope.
This is a team that, again, health defines whether they're at the top of the NFC or they're at the top of the top 10 in the draft. I think it's twofold for me. They play a last place schedule. On paper, it's the easiest schedule in the NFL. So all you guys can cue your shit in week 5 and go, well, they're not playing anybody. You got to play the teams that are on your damn schedule. When you sucked the year before, you play teams that sucked the year before. Mm-hmm. This is a team that I think is highly motivated for a couple of reasons. Number one, they've been trying to get number 6, and they've failed 3 different times. Number 2, in that same breath, they've had the Chiefs on the ropes both times, and they couldn't close the deal. Mm-hmm. I think the Rams are completely full of shit when it comes to what's going on with Matthew Stafford, and they should be. I do think the Seahawks are going to be a player. We'll get to that in a second, but you guys know I love Mike McDonald. I don't trust Kyler Murray in Arizona. So I think the division lays itself out for the 49ers perfectly. The motivation for the 49ers is there perfectly. And they brought back Robert Saleh. The Niners defense has never been better than it was with Robert Saleh. So high or buy, guys. On the NFC West, the Arizona Cardinals make the playoffs at a plus 140. TJ, I'll start with you.
No, not a chance. I don't think they're going to be horror awful, but I don't think there's a chance they make the playoffs. I think this is a team that wins maybe 9 games, and I think Gannon keeps his job just because they finish above 500, but this team is not going to the playoffs unless they buy tickets.
Mac, you will be in attendance at a Cardinal game this season. The only one of the 3 of us that will be in attendance at a Cardinal game this season. Higher buy on the Cardinals making the playoffs at a plus 140.
Yeah, I have to agree. I mean, I know they've done a lot to improve their defense. I still have a lot of questions, honestly, about their offense. Like you said, I think we've said it before. I mean, we don't trust Kyler Murray. I mean, that's the bottom line. I mean, we just don't. I hope he has a better season because I want to see Marvin Harrison Jr. have a good year, but I just don't. It's hard. I mean, and maybe it's a little just bias being out here. I just don't. I don't believe in the Cardinals.
All right. We're going to get wild with it here before we move on to some award winners. Again, feel free to drop your comments if you're watching along. We appreciate you. Let's get a little wild, but I have a test here, and this is always a thing. See, I like surprising you guys. I'm full of surprises. A lot of people would say I'm also full of something else, but let's see if you've been paying attention. I will give you guys my wild cards first because I want to see if you guys are really paying attention to see who's left off the list. So my wild cards in the NFC, the Green Bay Packers, the Washington Commanders, and the Seattle Seahawks. You guys think about it for a second. See if you can figure out who was left off that list. T, I will start with you. Give me your wild cards. And then if you think you know who I left off my playoff list, feel free to drop that in. Give me your wild cards in the NFC.
I got my wild cards as the Eagles, the Green Bay Packers, and the Falcons. And you left Eminem's favorite team off of your list.
I knew when you were tapping your chest, you figured it out. You're right. I did. I left the Detroit Lions off the list. I think it's easier to hunt until you're the hunted. Mm-hmm. And I think Detroit has put a massive target on their back. And that is a credit to Detroit. And I don't think they're going to just have a 49er type season from last year. But I think with Green Bay, and obviously my belief in Chicago, I think that's why they miss. Mac, give me your wild cards in the NFC.
I'm letting you stop drinking first.
No, I already saw. So
I have Minnesota, Chicago, and Tampa Bay.
You guys in this Bears team, I am just not sold on these
Bears.
guys at all.
Bears.
Did
All
you
right,
not?
let's go to some award winners, guys. Do you want to comment? I know you've got plenty to say about Caleb.
The dude couldn't hit a standing still target.
Oh, give
He
it a
couldn't
break.
hit a target that was not moving. He could never beat Utah. Never.
All right. I have to remember
Utah isn't on the Bears schedule, but go ahead, Mac.
Thank God.
I was going to say part of my reasoning is picking Chicago is so I can get T that shirt.
I forgot about that.
Yes.
If Tyson Bagent wins most of the games, that does not count.
No, Caleb, no.
No.
For those of you that didn't catch it, TJ will have a Caleb Williams jersey if the Bears make the playoffs. That was the deal, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So I have to put him in there.
Caleb has to be the starter for 75% of the wins. We'll throw that caveat on there. All right, let's go to some award winners. Let's start with the Offensive Rookie of the Year, a guy I'm really high on. This price, I love it. Makes me like him a lot more. But it's R.J. Harvey of the Denver Broncos. I went back and forth. There's two rookie running backs in the AFC West that I love. Omarion Hampton, who is an absolute beast of a human being. But I don't believe in the Chargers this year. R.J. Harvey, I think, is going to get an opportunity to really, really shine in Denver. The one knock going into the season was the running games. I do love the tandem of J.K. Dobbins and R.J. Harvey. But I think at plus 27, thank you. At plus 2,700, I think R.J. Harvey is a great grab, and I like the value there. So R.J. Harvey, the Broncos, my Offensive Rookie of the Year. Mac?
I'm going with Matthew Golden from Green Bay. I just think that he fits that team. We've talked about players who kind of fit in certain places. I really think he's going to fit in good in Green Bay. And now with some of the additions that Green Bay made, everybody's kind of really high and up on Green Bay. But I really think he's going to have a good year. I think he's going to do a lot for that offense. I think I like Matthew Golden. I loved him in college. I think he's going to be a really good pro.
TJ, Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, so I kind of crapped the bed on this one because I went with Travion Henderson from the Patriots, and then realized that he's third on the depth chart, which is going to require some unfortunate events to happen in New England. But I loved what he brought to the Buckeyes. I think he's a great runner. I think it's a matter of time before he's the starter, and yeah, so it's plus 1,200. If it's Mike's money, I'll spend it.
Roll Tide.
I'll take Henderson. But I noticed that none of us said the low-hanging fruit here in Tennessee.
I'm looking for value, guys. It wouldn't shock me if Cam Ward is the Offensive Rookie of the Year. And I'm going to bring this back up. Thanks to our guys, Herb and Raj, for checking in. I have communicated with them. They did make it out of Tallahassee, obviously safely. It was interesting. There was a situation where Herb was possibly naked running around the doke, trying to change. Oh, thanks. Trying to change wardrobes just to try and change whatever the hell happened with Alabama last weekend.
I was going to say,
Go ahead,
I'll give you my Cam Ward report after, I think it's like week 5 when they play the Cardinals.
Is there any truth to the rumor that either Herb or Raj is in line to replace Caleb DeBoer?
Wow.
Wow.
Well, they're watching, so we'll find out who's the favorite to replace Kalen DeBoer, Herb, or Raj. You guys need to back off my guy, KDB. All right, let's move to Defensive Rookie of the Year here. Speaking of college football, and this guy I mentioned in our preview, and again, we've got people behind the scenes that are helping putting this thing together. And one of our guys is a huge Commanders fan. And I told him today, you would hear a Commander come up from me, and it wasn't Jaden Daniels. But my defensive rookie of the year, this kid is an absolute effing stud. And if you're familiar with SEC football, you'll know exactly who I'm talking about. The knock on the Commanders last year was their defense, specifically their secondary, which they have overhauled. I do think the Commanders will have one of the better defenses in the entire league. Therefore, Trey Amos of the Commanders from Ole Miss, their second-round pick, is my defensive rookie of the year. Let's go to the middle for Mr. James Franklin apologist. Who is your defensive rookie of the year, Vegas Mac?
I love Abdul Carter. I think he's going to just wreak havoc in the league. I just think he's that good. The Giants, again, I don't know how good the Giants are going to be, but Carter's going to be absolutely fantastic. He's going to make them think about that couple of their other defensive players that they've had in the past.
TJ, let's stay on an SEC theme, shall we? Why don't you give me your defensive rookie of the year?
Herman Rodgers going to hate it. I'm going with Mikael Williams. I think this Niner defense is going to be outstanding. Like, I think they're going to be on par with – they're going to be in the top 3 this year. So I love the opportunity that Williams is going to get.
There you go. So they agree with you more than they agree with me, but they just said I was the man. So what the hell is going on in the 2 parts of the country that Herman Rodgers are in? All right, let's go to Defensive Player of the Year. And I kind of chuckled, guys, when, and full transparency here. We have a show rundown. That way, if we have the same picks, we also know that we want to give, our reasons for those picks. And I thought it was absolutely hilarious when I saw our 3 picks for the Defensive Rookie of the Year that they just so happen. Yeah, that's fair. That's totally fair. Auburn doesn't have good defenders anyway. So I was laughing my ass off when I saw our 3 Defensive Player of the Year picks because they just so happen to be from our 3 specific teams. So defend your fandom here and give me your Defensive Player of the Year. I will start on the far side. TJ to Mac to me.
It's going to be Max Crosby by a lot. This guy just continues to improve every single season. He's getting double and triple, and he fights through it. He's going to get 20 sacks this year.
Whoa! Speaking of the Raider Nation, shout out Jamarcus Russell, the purple drink. He's drinking the purple drink. 20 sacks for Max Crosby. We're not to bold predictions yet.
My bad.
The guy in the middle. What do you think for Defensive Player of the Year, Mac?
Yeah, TJ's the guy. Listen, his stats don't lie. I mean, he's without a doubt, the best defensive player out there. Money doesn't lie either. It's just the way that it is. I mean, he does so much. I mean, he puts pressure on the quarterback. He's great in the run game. And he's part of that great defensive front for Pittsburgh. So, and that's what makes him effective. I mean, obviously he has some help on that line, but he should have won. Really, one of the last 2 years, he should have won Defensive Player of the Year. So it's not even a stretch for me to think that he could win it this year.
Why don't you cry about it some more for him? Speaking of guys who have actually won Defensive Player of the Year, first of all, I will say this. At plus 1,300 for Max Crosby, I love the value there, especially because of who his head coach is. Mm-hmm. I love that. Obviously, TJ Watt, you can't go wrong there. And I'm going to stay in the family, if you will. In the family. Nick Bosa. Nick Bosa's best season he's ever had was with Robert Saleh. Nick Bosa was the hand-picked guy of Robert Saleh. And I will tell you the main other reason why. TJ's Defensive Rookie of the Year, Mikael Williams, obviously a big part of that. In the middle of that defense, the best middle linebacker, don't at me. I don't even care. Don't at me. Best middle linebacker in football, Fred Warner. Mm-hmm. But opposite with a depth position, back with Robert Saleh, under the radar, Bryce Huff, I think is going to be a huge addition for the 49ers. And I think that the biggest problem the Niners have had on a defensive standpoint, guys, is not getting enough attention away from Nick Bosa. Robert Saleh's defense. You've got Bosa, you've got Fred Warner, and you've got Deommodore Lenoir. Those are the three corner pieces of his defense. And I think Bosa is very happy to have Saleh back. I think that you're going to see that benefit. There's obviously some question marks on the Niners defense, but I love the position for Nick Bosa to be Defensive Player of the Year at plus 1,500. Offensive Player of the Year, guys, I had a really, really hard time with this one. The Offensive Player of the Year award, as we know, is the Offensive Player of the Year that's not a quarterback usually, but sometimes can be a quarterback. I wrestled with this one a lot. One of my favorite bets that I've made in NFL futures ties into this one. My Offensive Player of the Year is Bijan Robinson of the Atlanta Falcons. I think if the Falcons are going to do what I think they're going to do, the main reason for that on an offensive side is going to be one of Mac's favorite guys in Bijan Robinson. So Bijan Robinson, my Offensive Player of the Year. Mac, I'll go to you next.
I went with Jahmyr Gibbs for Detroit for a couple of reasons. Number one, great running back, great system. He's good out of the backfield catching the ball as well. I think I don't think Detroit's going to miss a step. I think the fact that they lost last year is going to drive them a little bit more. Gibbs does so much offensively. I just think he's gonna roll. Like the Tide, roll Tide.
Oh, geez, you two pandering. Why don't you guys just kiss already? TJ, give me your Offensive Player of the Year. Mac just wants the free shirt that Herb said he would send him because he's a T-shirt collector. Go ahead, T.
I'm going with Jaden Daniels. I think that this team is going to take their next step this year. I see them winning the division probably on the last day of the year. I think Jaden Daniels is going to have a huge role. He's going to have just a phenomenal. We thought it was last year was a breakout season. He's going to be like a phenomenal player this year. I got Jaden Daniels.
Our Coach of the Year is very interesting dichotomy of guys here. I'll start. Obviously, if I think Chicago is going to be Chicago and TJ will be wearing a Caleb Williams jersey, then I will take the low-hanging fruit here because I do believe in this guy. And Ben Johnson is my Coach of the Year at plus 600. Mac.
If you're going to make the playoffs, Jets, you got to have the Coach of the Year. So, Aaron Glenn, Jets, Jets, baby.
Herb, Raj, I will, pandering Mac, I will send you his address and size. Text me tomorrow. TJ.
Sean Payton of the Broncos. If you're going to beat the Kings of the Block, you got to have a great coaching staff giving you the game plans every week, and I think Sean Payton's going to do it.
Sean from the block. All right, let's go to MVPs this year. TJ, I will go right back to you. You are doubling down on your fun here. Give me your MVP.
Same as my OPOY, Jaden Daniels. He's going to have an outstanding year. Like, it was amazing watching him grow last year. And when he was, you guys probably, when he was at ASU, I never imagined that he would have had the development that he has had in his career. Like, he was not great.
No.
And now, and then he goes to a Heisman Trophy winner, and now he's one of the most dynamic quarterbacks in the league. This guy's a star, man. I love it.
Yeah. It's funny you mentioned that, T, because, Jonathan and I went to his last game when they played Wisconsin. And I mean, talk about, a terrible looking quarterback. I mean, he was awful. I remember saying, I can't imagine him ever playing on a Sunday. He's really made a lot of strides.
So, T, you haven't quite pandered enough to Herb and Raj yet. So we've got that for you.
Mm-hmm. Fair.
And then we've got this for you.
I can't please everybody, right? All the time.
Herb and Raj's favorite guy in the middle. Mac, give me your MVP in this NFL season.
Okay, so I didn't have a pick. I had a team.
Good job, Switzerland.
Yeah, I know. Well, because I'm not sure. But I mean, it's going to be somebody from the Ravens. It could be Lamar, or it could be Derrick Henry. I'm just not sure yet. But I think it's going to be somebody from the Ravens. If you make me pick, I'll pick Zay Flowers. No, I'll pick Derrick Henry.
You would pick Zay Flowers.
Hashtag washed up. Hashtag
but
washed up.
yeah, but I mean, I just think it's going to be somebody from the Ravens. I mean, Derrick Henry is absolutely phenomenal. I think Lamar's going to have an exceptional year. Maybe I'll do this. Listen, co MVP, Lamar and Henry. It's going to be a co.
God, dude, can we get somebody a Switzerland flag just behind him?
Jeez.
Next time you do a show, one of our broadcasts, which we will tell you about what's coming up for us in the football season, Mac will be literally sitting on a fence because that's what he's doing. All right. My MVP pick, again, you guys can call me a homer. You guys wouldn't. Some people watching might. But if I'm going to go all in with what I'm going with here, then my MVP pick is a guy who I still think gets zero credit for as good as he is. And the odds are so high, and I got to boost the shit out of this. So I boosted plus 2,500 all the way up to a plus 4,200. And that's Brock Purdy. And I think with the moving parts and the injuries that the Niners are dealing with, obviously the Niners lead the league in guys on their roster that have been shot with Brian Robinson and Ricky Pearsall. I think Ricky Pearsall is going to have a great year. I think George Kittle is going to be a monster. I think the Niners, because of their soft schedule, are going to be able to take their time and deciding when they bring what was Jaden Daniels' favorite target at Arizona State, Brandon Ayuk, back from that knee injury. I think he was right in the mix a couple years ago when Lamar won it. And I think Brock Purdy is going to have a huge year. I shouldn't even respond to this.
But... Hashtag Chubba's brother.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's another good one too. But yeah, I'm going with Brock. Again, if I believe the Niners are going to do what I believe they're going to do, then obviously he's going to have a huge part of it. All right, bold prediction before we get to the AFC and NFC championship games and get up on out of here. Mac, I'll start with you here. Give us your bold prediction for this season.
My bold prediction is that both former Lions coordinators, who are now head coaches, make the playoffs.
You guys are just going to will this into existence.
He's willing the Jets. Who's worse here? Me on the Bears or him on the Jets?
You guys. All right.
Do you want a Justin Fields shirt to go with that, Caleb Williams?
No,
the
please.
Jets are going to jet.
No, please.
The people of Chicago deserve this. TJ, give me your bold prediction.
I know that it goes.
I just saw it. Go ahead.
It goes against what I said earlier, but I'm going with it anyway because last year I spent 12 bloody weeks asking, is this the week? No, this is the year. There will be no Chiefs in the playoffs this year, and Travis Kelce will walk into the sunset as a guy whose team finished in third place in the division and did not go to the playoffs.
Well, you just really made all the Swifties mad.
I'm going to move along before we go somewhere. Guys that are following us, those of you out there, we appreciate you, as I've said all night. If you want to be dialed in, especially when it comes to SEC football, you just saw the message pop up from Herb and Raj. These are guys you want to go follow. Friends of ours, obviously, but these guys are dialed in when it comes to SEC football. And if you want to be in the know in the SEC, then definitely follow them. Obviously, some interesting stuff going on at Alabama. My bold prediction kind of goes back to, I think it was you, T, and me that had the Dolphins in the playoffs. So my bold prediction is Tua Tagovailoa, speaking of Alabama guys, wins the Comeback Player of the Year award at plus 2,500 this year. I, too, am a Dolphins believer. I think the Dolphins are going to legitimately be fighting for Mike McDaniel's job this year. I don't think they'll win a playoff game, but we've seen that the Comeback Player of the Year award has also kind of turned into a quarterback award. I really think, and I've been a big believer of him, but I think Tua at plus 2,500 is a great value for comeback player of the year. So that's my bold prediction. AFC Championship game. We've made our picks, our division picks as we round this out here. Let's see. We've got, all right, you two sitting in a tree. Go ahead, Vegas Mac, and tell me why you're picking your AFC Championship game. Why?
My AFC Championship game is Baltimore versus Buffalo, and I'll tell you how we get there. Baltimore is going to have to beat Kansas City. Buffalo is going to go on the road and beat Denver. Baltimore.
Did you Madden sim this?
I'm just telling you, I've got it all here. Kansas City goes on the road. They beat Houston. Buffalo beats the Colts. Okay, Denver is going to beat the Jets. And there's your semifinal: Buffalo and Denver, Baltimore and Kansas City. Baltimore and Buffalo. That's my AFC Championship game. Simple as that.
You do have the same AFC Championship game without the Madden sim. Why do you think it gets that way?
I just think Buffalo is gonna, like you said, man, they're gonna steamroll through their schedule. They're gonna get the 1 seed. They're gonna have home field or home ice or whatever it's gonna wind up being. Is this the last year that stadium's open, by the way?
Yes.
And then
Technically, it depends on who you talk to from a construction standpoint, but yes.
And then I just think the Ravens are a good team, man. They're just, but they're like always the bridesmaid, never the bride. I think it's gonna be Baltimore and Buffalo.
I do have Buffalo again because I've said that I think they're going to steamroll the AFC. Big believer in Josh Allen. Love Khalil Shakir. Love their running back tandem. But I've got them against Houston. I think Houston avoids the Houston Texans playoff spot and really steps up to the table this year. Again, I think Nico Collins doesn't get the credit he deserves behind Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson. I think because he plays in Houston, people don't understand how good he is. I really like the additions to the running back room there. We've got some guys trying to prove themselves, and I do believe in DeMeco Ryans, and I think Houston does it by getting through Baltimore at some point, whether Baltimore comes to them or not. I have them as a wild card, Baltimore, so it would be in Houston. But again, I think Josh Allen and the Bills do something that one of my best friends in life and a lot of Buffalo Bills fans have been waiting for. I think Josh Allen gets them back to the Super Bowl. Do they win it? We'll get to that in a minute. NFC Championship games. Who did I start with last time? I started with Max. So let's start with TJ, your NFC Championship game.
I've got, man, it's like chalk tonight. I got Detroit and San Francisco. I think once again, you're going to have two teams, 14-plus wins, meeting in the NFC title game.
Interesting stuff there. And they don't play late in the season this year, which will also be interesting. They do play, the Niners do, my Chicago Bears on the second to last week of the season on Monday Night Football. Monday Night Football. Vegas Mac, give me your NFC Championship game and why.
Well, I also have San Francisco and Detroit, but unfortunately, that's just going to be in the semifinal round. It's going to be
Sorry, will you enlighten us on your Madden sim all the way through?
Since you asked, okay, here we go. So let's start. So Detroit is going to come in at a number 2 seed. They're going to play Tampa. They will beat Tampa. San Francisco, unfortunately, T is going to eliminate the Bears, setting up San Francisco against Detroit. Philly, of course, has the bye. The Atlanta Falcons are going to win and beat Minnesota. That's going to set up a Philly-Atlanta semifinal game. It's going to be Philadelphia and Detroit in the NFC Championship game.
Did you get into that? Because I didn't.
Don't be jealous, man. Don't be jealous.
A lot of air miles.
He's got Detroit and Philly. That's what we came down to.
Detroit and Philly.
My NFC Championship game will be a familiar one, and I have mentioned a dumbass pass that cost a team a chance to go to an NFC Championship game just 2 years ago. So I've got San Francisco, and I've got wild card Green Bay in the NFC Championship game. And what would an NFL season be in the postseason of the NFL if San Francisco didn't once again remind Green Bay, who's your daddy? I don't care if you have Micah Parsons. I don't care if Jordan Love is about to do whatever the hell Jordan Love's about to do. Jordan Love made that dumbass pass against the Niners a couple years ago when Robert Saleh wasn't there. Mm-hmm. Robert Saleh is the factor that nobody's paying attention to when it comes to the Niners. So again, because we've got to stay on brand, another postseason where the Niners remind Green Bay, to quote one of Vegas Mac's favorite Red Sox of all time, who's your daddy? So that Super Bowl that'll be played 2 weeks after that, Niners win the NFC Championship game at the Big Zipper. Let's go in customary fashion here. We'll go with Mac last because the world that Vegas Mac rolls in is always interesting. So TJ, I will start with you. You have Buffalo and Detroit. The Super Bowl that I think everybody wants to see. Buffalo and Detroit at the Big Zipper in February. How does it play itself out?
Josh Allen is going to circle the wagons, and it's going to be a celebration like you've never seen before. Buffalo's going to win.
Holy shit, I would love to be a bar owner in Buffalo for that one weekend alone. Vegas Mac, you can go second. I've got the Bills and the Niners, speaking of circling the wagons. And I know somebody is watching this that wouldn't know what to do because he is a very good friend of mine, and I have turned his child into a 49er fan. He is a massive Bills fan, so that would be interesting just amongst itself. I've got the Bills and the Niners. If you've followed our show long enough, it's not the first time I've picked the Bills and the Niners. But I really do think this is the year that the Bills can actually break through the first wall. Problem is there's two walls to get through. And the wall, again, goes back to Robert Saleh's defense and MVP Brock Purdy and Defensive Player of the Year Nick Bosa. And finally, after torment and power outages and not taking the ball first and Jimmy Garoppolo being the guy that can always get you in the club because he knows a guy that knows a guy, but he can never get you the bottle service once he's in the club, 49ers finally get ring number 6 and they beat the Buffalo Bills. Without any further ado, Vegas Mac, who has run 10 million Madden simulations on this. Give me your Super Bowl, which is Baltimore and Detroit, and how does it play itself out?
Well, again, you talked about breaking down the walls. That's exactly what Detroit has done. They beat San Francisco. They're going to beat Philadelphia. It's kind of like the revenge tour. Mm-hmm. They're going to have to go up against a Baltimore team. This is just going to be a grind it, knock yourself out kind of a game. It's going to come down, of course, to a field goal. And I mean, you have to understand how much this just every bone in my body aches for me to have to say this.
Well, you're old.
I am old. Yeah. And so maybe it's not that bad, but I believe this year that the Baltimore Ravens are going to hoist the Super Bowl trophy. I just think they've knocked on the door enough. They're going to break down walls. That's going to be just a tremendous Super Bowl, Buffalo and Detroit. I mean, literally black and blue all over.
Way to go, Chris Jericho. Break down the walls. I'm going to show this. So that is one of my best friends, my father, and myself, way early beard. This is a picture from the last time that the Niners and Packers were in the NFC Championship game. It is autographed on the way by the guy wearing the Roger Craig jersey. Who's your daddy, Green Bay? Just prep yourself for it now. All right, we've done everything we need to do. A couple of things. You saw us in the summer. You guys really liked the lunchtime power hour. Well, how do we go forward, guys, with this show? Well, this is how we go forward. Tuesday and Wednesday nights, 5:30 on the West Coast, 8:30 on the East Coast. We will be on recapping the week that was on Tuesdays. Looking forward to the week that's coming up on Wednesdays. Thursdays and Fridays, we're going back to the lunch power hour. 11:30 on the West Coast. You do the math on the East Coast. TJ will tell you at some other point what time it is in Newfoundland and Sweden, where Mac resides, because he sits on the fence all the time. So Tuesdays and Wednesdays, 5:30 on the West Coast, 8:30 on the East Coast. Thursdays and Fridays, we will set you up for Thursday Night Football. Fridays, we will look back at Thursday Night Football, look at the weekend that was. On Thursdays and Fridays, it'll be me with a revolving door of people, including the two guys on the screen, maybe Herb, maybe Raj, maybe both of them, along with some other guests that we have lined up that we're really, really excited about. Obviously, our content continues on our social channels. Coming up tomorrow, TJ's got some musings. And anytime we give TJ free reign to muse, you never know what the hell is coming. It's kind of like Mac when he makes predictions for the season, like the Colts and the Jets. Our first triple option of the season I'll have for you tomorrow as we kick off with the Cowboys and the Eagles at the Link. TJ will actually have Sunday Night Football on our social channels this week because Vegas Mac, where will you be spending Saturday and Sunday this week for our audience out there?
I will be at the Bob watching the Arizona Diamondbacks host my Roman Anthony-less Boston Red Sox.
I was going to say, did you see the news before today?
It's okay.
TJ's got an interesting spot he'll be. Not only will he be previewing the Oklahoma-Michigan game this weekend, but he's also going to be somewhere on Sunday that I know TJ is very excited about. He is going to the Rose Bowl, and not a damn reason why, to see the Bruins. I don't know if I can explain to you guys enough how much TJ was waiting for this to happen. Let's check the level here. How freaking jacked are you for Sunday?
I am trying to get through the week at this point.
Is this the week?
This has been part of my identity for a year at this point, and then like 5 years before that. So yeah, this is going to be epic, and I'm going to get exactly 3 hours of sleep on Sunday night before I go to work, and I'm not going to care. Just
absolutely. It's a great time to be alive, man. A lot of stuff going on. We appreciate you guys that are here. Tag your friends. Tell your friends. Again, go follow our guys over at the Herb and Raj podcast, too, if you want to be dialed in, especially when it comes to SEC football. And they have a lot of fun. Check out their After Dark show on Saturday nights. You're probably going to see 1, 2, 3 of us. All of us at the same time. Maybe sporadically us. But go follow our friends over there. A lot of stuff coming up for the football season. Again, next time you'll see us in this space will be next Tuesday night at 5:30 on the West Coast, and we will look back at the opening weekend of the NFL. For everybody behind the scenes, for the two jamokes on the screen with me, TJ and Vegas Mac, we will talk to you soon. We're out.